Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Godsall's Turnbuckle. And we are back with some more predictions. This time, we're going to be doing that for AEW's All In 2024 from London, England. And as of right now, what I'm seeing based upon the 0 hour matches and the main card matches, we have 10 matches so far announced. I do expect maybe some more to show up on 0 hour, but we do have one of those on 0 hour at this moment, which is going to be Chris Statlander and Stokely Hathaway going up against Willow Nightingale and Tomohiro Ishii. This match is going to be kind of a setup for Willow Nightingale's and Chris Statlander's CMLL title match at All Out. And the winner of this match basically is going to be able to pick the stipulation for that match. So with that being said, on that side, I'm probably going to be going with Chris Statlander and Stokely Hathaway, though I do feel like they're going to have like some interesting bits with Ishii and Hathaway in there. But I do expect them to pick up that victory because it just makes a lot more sense to me to have the heels pick the stipulation going into this match at All Out than it would be, say, the baby faces in this particular case. So I'm going to go with Statlander and Hathaway to win. And yeah, it should be an interesting 0 hour match itself. And it'll be interesting to see if they happen to be, having more matches on 0 hour to go along with it. And now we're on to the main card, and the first match we are going to be going through will be Chris Jericho versus Hook, and it will be for the FTW Championship. Now, this is going to be an interesting match itself, and that's going to be all based upon how you kind of feel about this storyline going in there, with Chris Jericho being the learning tree with Brian Keith and well, I almost said Big Cass, but Big Bill going up against Hook, where his buddies are kind of taken out with Shibata and Samoa Joe not really being around. Now it's going to be interesting if they actually show back up in this match or at any given point, or if it's just going to be Hook on his own the entire time. Does Taz get involved in any way, shape, or form? Because they've been kind of bringing him into this as well, with Jericho getting him basically kicked out of the commentary area every time Chris Jericho comes out. So it's been a feud that's been going on for quite some time. Oddly enough, I consider this feud going further down the line to go along with it, and that's just mainly because the fact that you still have the whole thing with Samoa Joe being taken out, Shibata being taken out. You would expect them to kind of come back into the fray and kind of get a little bit of revenge on that, or be looking for revenge themselves on that one. So I do expect this feud to actually continue on. Now, based upon what they were saying, if Hook loses, he would be out of the whole mix for the FTW title. He won't be in the Jericho Vortex or anything to go along with that. So I'm going to go with Hook to pick up the victory on this one. And up next is going to be the Casino Gauntlet match, and the winner of this match is going to get a future World Championship match. Not sure when that's going to end up happening, because I know they have Darby Allin facing the winner at Grand Slam and everything to go along with that. So it's going to be kind of hard to say when that person is going to get that title match. But as of right now, the people that have been kind of announced for this, and there's probably going to be some other people in there. Obviously, there's going to be some other people to go along with it as well. But right now we have Orange Cassidy, Kyle O'Reilly, Roderick Strong, Evil Uno's in there. And then you also have Hangman Adam Page. Based upon how things are going, I almost expect Okada to be in this match as well. This style match is actually been a very entertaining one because it's one of those where the match can technically end at any given time, but people can keep coming out. So it's kind of an interesting dynamic where you're kind of racing against the clock to not have another person come out. So you pick up the victory, try to pick up the victory as early as you can, but usually it goes on for quite a bit of time. Now, just based upon everything here and just where I feel like they're kind of going with everything, and you can even play this up for the main event a little bit later in the night as well, I'm going to go with Hangman Adam Page to pick up the victory on this one, because it could lead to some interesting things just based upon whether or not Swerve keeps the title, or even if Danielson keeps the title. You could play the whole thing as, Hangman has been obsessed with trying to get that title off of Swerve, but he gets that opportunity, and then Swerve loses the title, or he's kept the title. Like, you could play a lot with that, and we'll get into the main event prediction obviously later on for this. But for this particular match, I'm going with Hangman Adam Page. And up next is going to be for the AEW Women's Championship. It is going to be Toni Storm going up against Mariah May. And honestly, in the terms of a lot of the feuds going into this, there's a lot of matches I'm kind of looking forward to on this show. This is one of them because this has been kind of playing out with the whole Mariah May, Timeless Toni Storm team leading into the ON, leading to the turn of Mariah May for months. And it's kind of, it was one of those things where it's like you kind of expected it coming, but you didn't fully expect when they were going to do it. And I actually ended up liking how they did the turn of Mariah May when she won the Owen Hart Classic and everything in that sense. I thought it was really well done. Everything that they've done kind of afterwards is the whole aspect of Toni Storm becoming even more unhinged and wanting to destroy Mariah to go along with it. I think it's been done really well. I'm very intrigued in what they're going to do in this match. They have been playing up the whole All About Eve thing this entire time. And even though Mariah May did get one over on Toni Storm on Dynamite this week, I'm going to go with Mariah May to pick up the victory here because that's kind of what happens in that movie. As the initial fan takes over for the star, which was Timeless Toni Storm. So now it's time for Mariah May. And then does something happen after the fact as well? Do they continue this type of storyline to go along with it down the line for somebody else or anything in that sense? That's going to be up to that point in time there. But I'm going to go with Mariah May to pick up the victory here and take that AEW Women's Championship. And up next, we have the AEW Tag Team Championship match. It's going to be a triple threat with the Young Bucks going up against the Acclaimed, going up against FTR. Now, this has been an interesting one because you've had that entire time frame where the Acclaimed had picked up a tag team title match before the Blood and Guts match itself that they were a part of. But ever since Blood and Guts had happened, the Acclaimed have been kind of focused on FTR the entire time because FTR was wanting to go after the Young Bucks, but the Acclaimed had the title shot, and then FTR cost the Acclaimed their title shot as well. So it's an intriguing one. It's definitely an intriguing triple threat match. I think it's going to be a well performed match. I'm not necessarily that big into the story and the build that they've done going into it, but the matches themselves have been really good. The match with FTR and the Acclaim, which went to a 30-minute time limit draw, was really good on Collision. Like, you're getting some really good stuff in there, and I do expect the match to be really well done. Now, in terms of a victor here, this is kind of a hard one to pick here, and I'm actually going to go with the Young Bucks for this particular victory. Last year, FTR picked up the victory over the Young Bucks in that tag team match. I do feel like they're going to pick up the victory here, but I don't think they're going to pin somebody from FTR in this match. It's going to be an intriguing match to see how everything plays out. Like I said, I do believe it's going to be a very entertaining match. It's just probably one where the build hasn't been necessarily the best, but the matches have been really good for all intents and purposes. So I expect, like I said, I expect a very good match. Gonna go with the Young Bucks to pick up the victory in this one. And up next is going to be a four corners ladder match. It is going to be for the AEW Trios Championship. It's going to be the Patriarchy going up against the Bang Bang Gang, going up against the House of Black. And this is a little bit of a spoiler. That fourth team is going to be Claudio Castagnoli, Wheeler Yuta, and Pac. Interesting that they're going to be keeping or having a fourth team in this one, because this entire feud has pretty much been with the Patriarchy, the Bang Bang Gang, and the House of Black for the trios titles for at least a few months at this point in time, or at least a couple of months to go along with this. So they're just adding a fourth team in there. And it's going to be a very interesting, I think it's going to be a very interesting match because, well, it's a ladder match. It's always going to be interesting to see what they do with the ladders. Like, what are they going to come up with in the terms of the spots and everything? What are they going to continue on with as well in terms of potential stories? Is there going to be any issues with Kill Switch and Christian and Nick Wayne and any of those particular sides of everything? You also play up the aspect that the Bang Bang Gang had the trios titles basically stripped from them back when Jay White got injured, and they're like, no, you can't do the Freebird rule with them. So that was a little bit weird on that. Now, in terms of a winner, I'm gonna go with the Bang Bang Gang here. I do feel like they're gonna probably finally go a route with Christian and the Patriarchy, especially with Killswitch, where maybe Killswitch is finally getting sick and tired of the whole, not being treated too well type thing. And then maybe he goes after Nick Wayne and Christian after the fact. I think you see maybe more of the beginnings of it here. I don't think it happens like mid-match or anything, but I do feel like they're going to drop those titles and the Bang Bang Gang is going to pick those back up and go forward from there. And up next is going to be for the TBS Championship. It is going to be Mercedes Moné going up against Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. This is going to be fun. Mercedes, like, she's been having very good matches leading into this particular one as well, especially her match with Hikaru Shida, Stephanie Van Kerwin as well back at Forbidden Door. It's just been really good match after really good match. And of course, Britt Baker finally was able to come back, and her first go with everything is to go after Mercedes. And it's kind of nice to how they've been playing this off. It's like, you have Britt Baker, who's been with the company since day one. Mercedes is coming in, is quote unquote a bigger star, but not necessarily been there for all that long, is just kind of getting everything handed to her. So it's been really nice to see where they're going with everything here. It's cool to see them bring back Britt Baker as a baby face with everything as well. And I do feel like this is going to be a really fun match, like much like with Toni Storm and Mariah May. Very good, intriguing story going into it. This one, I wouldn't say maybe like the most complex story going into it and build going into this particular match, but basically the two of them going at each other with promos has been actually quite good. Now, with everything that happened on Dynamite, where Britt Baker basically got one up on Camille and Mercedes Moné here, I'm going to go with Mercedes to pick up the victory here and keep the TBS Championship, because, again, I don't necessarily see it being time to take that title off of her. Now, I could be completely wrong on that, and they want to put that title on Britt Baker. That's why they've been having Mercedes have title matches on TV quite a bit. So it could be one of those things where they're having her get as many title matches in as possible and then having her drop it all in. But I'm going to go with Mercedes to pick up the victory on this one. And up next is going to be the AEW American / International Championship match. It is going to be MJF going up against Will Ospreay. And what can I say? Like, I don't know how much, I don't even know if they're going to be able to really top that match that they did on Dynamite that basically almost went the hour-long time limit that MJF picked up the victory in. I do like what they've been kind of doing here. They've been teasing this whole thing with Will Ospreay for months since he had that match with Danielson that he doesn't want to do the Tiger Driver 91. You've been having that entire thing in there, and you've had MJF playing this up as like, oh, it's America versus Britain, but then he kind of slipped and said what he was at, why he was actually doing what he was doing on Dynamite, and also, you know, basically calling Will a coward for not using the Tiger Driver, everything to go along with that. And then on Dynamite, he kind of let slip why he was doing everything, which was because the fans were liking MJF until Will Ospreay showed up and he screwed up everything. So now MJF is back to being who he is. With it. So I do actually like that bit of story going into the pay-per-view itself, because they were kind of playing it up as the basic America versus Britain and everything in that type of sense, but it actually was MJF being MJF basically, in that sense. Now, when it comes to a winner on this particular one, again, I am expecting a very good match there. I did like also the whole bit that, you know, MJF got one over on bloodied Will Ospreay on Dynamite, and lo and behold, who shows up to talk to Will? It was Bryan Danielson, and he just said, "Do it," which means, more than likely means, use the Tiger Driver in this match. As like kind of a thing was like, you need to be doing this, and kind of giving almost like a blessing to a certain degree on that one. Now, with everything here, I do think that you're probably going to see that Tiger Driver show up in this particular match, because, like I said, they've been playing this up for months, ever since the Danielson match, that he won't do it. So I do feel like you will see that particular move in this match. I'm going to go with Will Ospreay to pick up the victory in this one as I hit my microphone, and he's going to be walking out of there with the, I'm imagining if he walks out with it, they're going to call it the international title again, or they might keep it as the American Championship. I don't know. We'll just see how everything plays out with that, but I'm going to go with Will Ospreay. And up next is going to be for the TNT Championship. It is going to be Jack Perry going up against Darby Allin in a coffin match, nonetheless. This has been a very dark feud if you really look into everything and what has been done, especially during Blood and Guts and Anarchy in the Arena as well. I mean, Darby set, well, actually in that match, Jack Perry almost runs over Darby with a bus, and then Jack Perry does literally set him on fire, and then threatens to set him on fire again in Blood and Guts, which led to them getting the TNT title match. And then Jack Perry actually challenged him to a coffin match, which is something that Darby Allin doesn't necessarily lose in AEW. Now, this is going to be a wild match. Like, in terms of everything here, like, it's kind of crazy that we are getting stipulation matches like a ladder match and a coffin match. And oddly enough, the AEW Women's Championship match, which was started with a very bloody start, doesn't have a stipulation to it. That's a little bit weird, but that's for a different time on that one, because we already talked about that match. But again, you know, with what you normally see with Darby Allin and what he does to himself in general, and like what he did in Anarchy in the Arena, he was hanging upside down for a long period of time. He will do almost anything that is feasible, and that's what you kind of expect from his matches. Now, in the terms of everything here for the TNT Championship, I'm going to go with Jack Perry here. I do think it's not necessarily time for him to lose that one particular title. And it's maybe time that Darby does lose one of those coffin matches. So I'm going to go with Jack Perry on this one. Not sure. I know there's rumor going around that Sting could be showing up in some way, shape, or form. Though I don't know if it's just a thing where he'll be visiting backstage or something in that sense, or if he actually makes an appearance on the show. But ultimately, I'm going to go with Jack Perry in this match. And up next is going to be for the AEW World Championship. It is the main event of the night. It is Swerve Strickland going up against Bryan Danielson. You also have the caveat here that is title versus career. That's right. If Bryan Danielson loses, he will retire. Now, how much does that retirement hold? Well, it's wrestling, so whatever you think it is. Sometimes someone actually does retire. Other times you'll see them again at some point. So we'll see how that if that ends out playing out. This has been a very interesting build going from the end of the Owen tournament going into this particular match at All In, and it's kind of made it hard for me to pick the winner, or at least make a prediction that is like, I'm gonna stick with this. I obviously have, because we're doing something here, but you've seen Swerve kind of go back to his full-on heel Swerve tendencies in the most recent weeks. You've had Bryan Danielson going from I'm content with retirement to I'm fired up and I'm best wrestler in the world. And you had all of these different things going in there. You're playing up the whole aspect that Bryan Danielson's family's gonna be there. What are they gonna do with? Are they gonna do anything with them with this match, or do they even show them on camera? Hard to really say where they're gonna go with this one, but it's a very intriguing match because you get that feeling. It's like, based off the video packages, it's like, yeah, this feels like it's going to be Bryan Danielson's last match. But you've also go off of the aspects of interviews of how much he does actually, quote unquote, likes to lie to the fans in terms of what he's doing with his career and everything in that sense. Danielson was wearing a very similar shirt to when he retired in the WWE the first time as well. So you have all these different avenues going on there. You also have the whole aspect of Hangman wanting to go after Swerve as much as possible. I don't think he really plays into this particular match in any way, shape, or form. But it'll be intriguing in the earlier in the night if he wins the Casino Gauntlet match, which is what I predicted for that match. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, they're setting up for Swerve versus Hangman. So you have that whole aspect in there as well. So it's been kind of a toss up for me of like what I would be doing or what I would be predicting in this particular match. And oddly enough, I'm going to go with Swerve. I really have been liking Swerve's AEW title run. You can get a feeling from Danielson that he may not even really want to, I won't say not want to hold the AEW World Championship, but it's not a big priority to him other than going out there and having really good matches and really good feuds with anybody he goes out there with. So I'm gonna pick Swerve to bring, get the victory on this one. It's like I kind of wavered back and forth between both of them, but ultimately I went with Swerve Strickland on this. And that is all the matches for AEW All In, at least as of Thursday night when I'm recording this particular video. And yeah, if you ended out liking the video, feel free to leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you so wish. I do plan on doing All In reactions, like a live reaction show over here on the channel as well on Sunday morning. It will basically be Sunday morning for me at this point. So feel free to tune in for that. We will be doing a live stream, a live reaction, and a watch along of All In. And with that being said, I hope you all take care, stay safe, stay healthy, and have a great rest of your day.